Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today officially is the 9th anniversary of the game. So we all get a new profile picture, I believe, with the number 9 around this time. It gets quite popular. And as you guys are going to see, I personally get the Protector of the Multiverse title. And that means that over 8 years in the contest. That's kind of depressing, but, you know, rewarding at the same time, because had I not been playing this game for such a long time, well, I wouldn't get to interact with all of you. And that means that I basically started this game like less than a year after it launched and have stuck with it ever since. So that's part of the celebration, obviously, that people always look forward to and expect and are excited by. And then we have our 9-year anniversary calendar, which kind of surprisingly started a day early on 9th, actually, rather than on 10th, as it was claimed that it will for a lot of people. And that means that there are quite a few people who kind of meant to do the Valiant push the last day, and unfortunately, they are going to miss out on these rewards, which, you know, is yet another small thing that Kabam definitely needs to kind of work on to make sure that they are extremely accurate with the start dates of these things, so people, you know, there are no misunderstandings or that they abide by them. And obviously, if you are a Valiant player, then this calendar is, you know, better. I'm not going to say that this calendar is like insane, but it is definitely better than anybody else in the game. And the difference quite noticeable. Paragons only get 2,500 7-star shards versus Valiants get 5,000 7-star shards and also 2,500 Titan shards. And perhaps most importantly, some tier 6 CC selectors, because that apparently, as it turns out, is kind of my personal bottleneck at the moment. And I definitely look forward to that. Now, today there are some more awesome things that have arrived in the game. And if you go to the arena, we have our new special arenas, 6-star celebration arena. We have a week's time, 6 and 5-star celebration arenas. And to be honest, the arenas themselves, you know, they don't look too great, but they don't require too much effort or points to complete, and there are some units. Obviously, 6-star shards is not necessarily anything to get excited about, but do not miss the solo event for these arenas, because that's where the good stuff is if you are at the higher progression levels, because these solo events include more units, like significantly more units, and also 7-star shards, and also very sizable chunks of battle chips. So make sure that even if you never ever grind arena, go in these special arenas, use your 1 and 2 stars, get all the milestones, and it will be well worth your time. It will be some of the most rewarding time you can put in Mountains of Champions in order to get rewards, because you can get units, 7-star shots, battle chip tokens, and all sorts of goodies. And these arenas do not take too much time, which is awesome. And then another, well, kind of like an issue, a scuffed launch, you could say, I suppose, was with the Not Another Anime solo event, where apparently we had an issue with it. I don't even know exactly what was the issue. But you get these crystals for playing incursions, and incursions have just reset. So I will be jumping in incursions myself very soon to do the Zone 25 push, get all of those rewards, and on top of it, benefit from these little things here. I personally already have a 7-star plat pool, because I got very fortunate by getting those booster packs and, you know, selecting the missing pieces from the gold and platinum track. But in case you didn't know, 7-star plat pool is a very solid auto-questing option, because he significantly speeds up, well, boosts the speed there. Other than that, we also got the 4-star Gladiator. And this is kind of like the funny bit. I know that I have been trashing on Gladiator fair amount recently, right? Or ever since he got released. Or more specifically, ever since I myself acquired Gladiator. But either way, kind of sucks. And in the stream today, we were kind of like really laughing, because a couple years ago, new players that started their new accounts or alt accounts in December got a free 4-star Hercules. Basically, if you made an account now, right, you'd open the game and you get this free 4-star champion. And a couple of years ago, that was Hercules. So all the new accounts, or more specifically, all the experienced players who opened alt accounts then, could absolutely destroy all the initial piece of content because they got a 4-star Hercules, right next to their 1 and 2 stars. And right now, you make a new account and you get a 4-star Gladiator, and you can't go destroying the contest. You're gonna get you're stuck with Gladiator. That is such a massive kind of like difference from a couple of years ago. And yeah, I'm sorry, Gladiator, you just kind of suck. Man, it's still such a pain point for me, and I think a large point of community, how bad he is. The fact that community choice champion is legitimately the worst champion of the year should be like an absolute source of embarrassment for Kabam. And I believe it is. And, hopefully his buff is, proper. I think the value update isn't going to do for him justice. But we also have this special Gladiator objective, which I personally have very little desire to even try and complete. Not because Gladiator sucks so much, and he does, but also just because, trying to go questing with Gladiator and then doing these fights with light attacks, medium attacks, and everything else for like a couple of half crystals. Again, not to sound country club elitist or anything like that. I don't think it's worth it for Valiant players or even Paragon players. Yeah, I think this is one of those things where, like, if you're a new player, fair enough, but that has to be like a new player. If you go play this game for a while, these events just, it seems like takes more work and effort than any perceivable benefit from having this in the game in the first place, if they are going to make it this shit. So, not every event can be a winner. This one definitely isn't. And at the moment, this is the part of December festivities and events, and you can definitely earn quite a substantial amount of units right now, which is also exactly what you should do. I haven't counted the totals, but in between the incursion event from the plat pool and in between these new arenas, there are a fair amount of units, and I believe you can probably easily earn the 1,000 units required to get all the alliance milestones if everybody in the alliance contributes and participates. And that was kind of like one of the bigger reasons for making this video. Well, number one, to point out all the celebration things, but also to remind that regardless of how poor the banquet event is, in alliance milestones we still have that ascension, and we still have the 7-star crystal, which are objectively good rewards, again, regardless of how poor rest of those milestones are. And I do think it's well worth from each member to sacrifice 1,000 units to get those milestones when the banquet event starts. So grind that arena right now, so you definitely have those units to spare to get, the Deathless Guillotine piece, to get those that 7-star crystal. If you're not going for all of the solo milestones, that's completely understandable. That's like 10k units, that's a different ball game. But getting all the alliance milestones for 1k units, and that will also give you this Deathless Guillotine piece, and that will give you a 7-star crystal. 7-star crystal for 1k units is well worth it, regardless how you look at it, and on top of all of the extra stuff that you're gonna get for it. So again, obviously, the banquet event is extremely disappointing, but it's not nothing, and there's still going to be, some good stuff in it. Again, 6-star Ascension has its meaning, 7-star Crystal is good, Guillotine pieces there, plus obviously probably gonna get at the very least some decent Greater Banquet crystals from all of those calendars and events and solo objectives and whatnot that we are going to get. How many of those we get for free? Like 20? 20 or 30? Somewhere in between 20 and 30 free Greater Banquet crystals we will be able to open from those events. And, yeah, they do hold their own value, and, some of them will end up being tier 2 alphas, but there's probably going to be some decent stuff in there. And I know it's like, I nearly made a video earlier today where I was going to have a go at Kabam about all the bugs yet again, because since the update there have been enormous amount of, bugs, and then this calendar started a day early, and that was frustrating for players. But instead, it's December. We have all plenty of things to be pissed off about, like very, very, very inconsiderate and untruthful and misleading forum treatment from Kabam staff is much worse, in my opinion, than a subpar event in general. Whatever, I'm not gonna go into it, but enjoy your Marvel celebrations, and I hope you guys having a good time. See ya. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about